Hey, what's up, everybody? Get ready for an explosive episode. We have a controversial guest on today, but it also gets personal. We talk about a lot of different things. So make sure you stick around to the end. You don't want to miss this. He's a top influencer on social media, and he's under a lot of controversy right now. Get ready. The DL Whisperer is coming to OneMicNite. Hey guys, so I'm day 2 with these nootropics, these gummies. Yesterday was great. Very smooth, even day. No problem. Mood didn't change. I was focused on everything that I did. So just a reminder, these have 6 different mushrooms. They taste incredible. Little bitty gummies. This is called the snack pack. So you eat everything that's in the snack pack, and they even out your mood. They help you with focus, energy. They support brain health, gut health, and sleep. You're gonna sleep like a baby. So check yours out. Click the link below. Get your discount by clicking that link below. You'll be on your way. Like I said, this is day 2, and I'm feeling great. Nootropics gummy. Get yours. Here we go. Hi, everyone, and welcome to OneMicNite, a podcast that brings you stories of artists and people on their journey, helping to guide, answer questions, and motivate you in life and the business. You already know who I am. It's Marcos Luis, and we are in season 6 of OneMicNite podcast. And I want to thank everybody for sharing these episodes, liking these episodes, and being along with me on this journey. We are 19 years of OneMicNite, so thank you, everybody, for being along with me on this journey, bringing people to the platform and open mics, the live, the pod, everything. So thank you. Today, I am extremely excited. We have something serious to talk about. We have a guest today who brings stories, and actually, I'm gonna let him talk about it. Please welcome DL Whisperer to OneMicNite. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today. I'm glad that we were able to finally get this done.
Finally, right? We had a hard time, but I'm so happy. Listen, I have questions. The first question is, who is the DL Whisperer?
Who is the DL Whisperer? Well, the DL Whisperer is a brand, or I guess you could say a personality that helps the women determine or kind of know the signs of if a man is DL to avoid those type of men. On a surface level, because of course, like I already said, like I've been doxxed, so people know who I actually am, but it kind of affected my career, so I kind of just leave. I'm indifferent about even opening up about my actual life because again, it's already been impacted by this.
I understand 100%, but I want to know, like, where did this all begin, and first of all, let's back it up because my audience may not know.
Right.
Some people living under a rock. What is DL, and what is a DL Whisperer, and all this whole?
Yeah. Okay. So a DL man is the man that is secretly, well, he's living a heterosexual life, which is straight, but he's secretly sleeping with men in this case. So that's what a DL man is, in layman's terms. I think that's pretty direct.
Okay. And so how did this all start for you? And what do you do?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So in 2022, I was dating because everybody always feel like, oh, you used to mess with DL man. Like I've already stated that. So in 2022, it was this one DL man because when I first was dealing with DL man, I didn't look at it as this is something bad because I didn't know all of the damage that they actually do because I was new to dating. I was in college. that's the time people just be doing shit. So in 2022, a couple of years later, after dealing with this same DL man for years, he ended up attacking me because he thought I was going to expose him. And, he tried to take my life. So from there, it was like this wake up call, like immediately, where it's like everything that I guess I had been ignoring about like the toxicness and everything, and even things that I had read online. I'm just like, well, that's not my situation. But when it became my situation, it just made me think like, if I would have truly listened and had examples and somebody with some sense to tell me that this is how things were, I would have believed them. So I was like, okay, I need to help people, specifically women, because in all of these situations, sometimes the DL man might trick me and they might have a girlfriend or a wife. So it's like you're triangulating women into this and just creating a lot of drama. And I'm a gay man, so I know who's DL. So therefore, I don't need to help other gay men because they don't need to talk to DL men. So I was like, I need to help women. So when I first got on the internet in 2022 as the DL lover boy, a name they gave me, I just was exposing the men that I had dealt with because I felt like if I expose all of these secrets, you have no reason to try to take my life because like, you don't have a secret to take my life over. So through that, I realized me exposing individual men is not going to help women. I need to give them signs and give them tips. So I took a little time off from social media to work on my mental health because my mental health was really bad. Like it was really, really bad. So I took some time off, worked on it. And women kept begging me, like, we need you to come back, give us signs, give us tips. So I finally said, like, okay, I'm gonna come back. And this is me coming back.
This is you coming back. So I want to talk about that a little bit. What couple things. Uh DL men.
Mm-hmm.
Why in your opinion, why are men DL?
It's a couple of different reasons, but I think that a lot of men are raised DL. And I know people are like, how can you raise somebody to be DL? So patriarchy, like we always talk about, that plays the big part in society. A lot of people try to ignore it, but that's how a lot of our lives are shaped. But when you really look into patriarchy and the basis of it and the goal of it, to me, is used to make men hate women. We can see that through music, media, and all of these things. And a lot of these men that I see that are like that, they're usually down low. Like the ones that to me try to give off, they might not know it's patriarchy that they're trying to portray or that they're trying to like embody, but those are the characteristics. Like when we talk about black men that won't date black women, like you're self-hating. It's just certain things that I pay attention to that other people might not see. So that for me is yeah.
What are some of the signs that you would say? I know I've seen some of your videos, and I think you had one episode where you were talking about what the signs are.
Yeah.
So what are the signs in your opinion of
so some of the main signs are going to be hypermasculinity, and I always say this: like anything can technically be a sign, but what you want to pay attention for is that you're a man, I'm a man. We know that no man is 100% masculine. Every man knows that, like, nobody is 100% anything. There's no absolutes in life. We all know that. So, like I always tell women, with the hypermasculinity, a straight man isn't going to be hung up on, oh, I got to do this to appear straight, or I can't do this because people are going to think I'm gay, because nothing you do except sex is going to technically make you be gay. That's all I always say. I can say all of these signs, but if you're not gay, you're just not gay. Like, people always act like I'm forcing them to be gay. Like, I can't make you be gay just because I said you were gay. Like, either you're gay or you're not. It's something deeper than just me giving out signs. And like I always tell women, some of these signs are, they're going to be for men that might be straight too. So you have to look at a lot of things, because besides them being hyper masculine, they're also going to be misogynistic. They hate women. Mm-hmm. If a man does not like women, if he feels like every woman is trash, every woman is the gold digger, if he has all of these negative things to say, do you really think he's going to be with a woman? No, because he hates them. So that's like the two big things that I always talk about. Of course, me with the signs, that's an hour-long video every single time, because there's so many, because you have to look into their childhood, their mother trauma. You have to look into their career, what they decided to do with their life. It's a lot of things that you have to look into. So it's not something
mother trauma and father trauma, both.
And if they have both, is over with. But the mother for women, because I'm trying to help women, that's like a big thing, because like I always tell people, especially me as the man, I didn't necessarily, my dad was kind of in and out, but I didn't need him to show me how to be a man because he showed me what type of man I didn't want to be. So I'm like, men technically can still be okay. Like, yeah, you're gonna have some trauma that you might need to go through counseling and heal, but if you didn't have a dad, then you know what you didn't want, you know what you don't want to be, so you know how to be a man somewhat based off that. And I think being a man is, a lot of people equate it to masculinity. It's not that at all. And I think that that's somewhere we also get lost in translation. That's why I say women are smart and they listen. A lot of men don't listen to my content, so they think that I'm just saying something. Like, even when I talk about the sports, like sports, fraternities, jails, any male-dominated field, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. So it all gets the same product. Like, if we know that men that go to jail are going to probably end up being gay, depending on how long they're in there. So if a man is playing sports his whole life, and I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but I'm going to bring it home because that's something I always hear people mention. The reason why I say that about sports players is because if you've ever played sports, you know how things are in the locker room. Like, at a certain age, you don't know what you're looking at, what you're doing, because that's not in your brain. But you also don't know that it's wrong, or you're not supposed to be attracted to this, because people aren't teaching you those type of things, or they're not really conditioning you. They're just letting you, the chips fall where they're made. And if I'm around men my whole entire life, no women, who would assume that I'm gonna like women? I don't even know women. I've only been around men. I only know men. I saw men bodies. I've built bonds with men. I've done all of these things with men. Women were never in the picture. They're an afterthought. So that's why I say, like, it kind of goes a little bit deeper. And we know with media, sports is the form of media. Media is used to influence people, culture, society. That's why they use sports and music to influence us, Black people.
Do
But
you
I'm
think
not gonna
we're
go to.
No, no, I think that's great. You open up a lot of cans of worms. Do you think that we're at a point right now where uh, bisexuality and sexuality is a lot more open? Well, for women, I know for sure, but just in terms of people experimenting more and doing more things sexually.
Um, I
And
think, and even when you say for women, there's a lot of down low women too, because women still face those same stigmas. Like, it just depends on where you're at. Like, if you go to a small town or a rural town, you're not going to see a lot of openly gay women because they still face those stigmas. So I don't think it's just men, because also for me, I think DLism or DL man comes from like a lot of oppression. Women face that same oppression. It's just through tactics used early when we integrated or before we integrated, women have essentially been desensitized to certain tactics, which is why even if you look into MK Ultra, that doesn't work on Black women because of history and just some things that we've been through that we're not going to talk about, but just to kind of lead people to just think a little bit harder about how this works. That's why Black women are, to me, like I always say, they're holding up the community. Even though they're bisexual or down low, they don't repress things the same as men. Like, you don't see women out here killing people to keep their sexuality a secret, but you see men doing that.
right. Do you feel, yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing too.
Mhm.
And I think that you hear a lot of cases, not only in the LGBTQ community with gay men, but also with trans, with,
Mhm.
the men killing the trans. Um,
Yeah.
it's an unfortunate thing,
Mhm.
more than unfortunate.
Yeah.
And I guess the question is how do we get to a point where people don't have to be repressed in their
Uh-huh.
sexuality. And like you said, it goes back to the patriotic system of our
Mhm.
country
Yeah.
and always being, the who in Spanish, quien es más macho, who's,
Right.
more macho. So,
Right. That's
right,
it.
exactly. And that's, but
Even how we
also,
base masculinity, like in America, if you're tall, especially if you're dark, like it's tall, dark skin, you're masculine. Like,
right,
people aren't gonna. So I feel like that's why I say, like, everything is so subjective and everything is semantics. But that's why American language is so hard to learn, because it's so much semantics behind it. That's why even when you talk about Christianity being used to control people, because if we go back, patriarchy, Christianity falls under that. And that's another method that they use to brainwash people. People couldn't even read English. So
right,
they had to trust somebody else to translate something to tell them how to live their life. If you go back and look, the Bible has been revised a bunch of times. Homosexuality wasn't directly listed in the Bible. It was
Absolutely.
revised and put in the Bible because people have always been gay through history. If you go back to Greece, if you go back to any time in history, sexuality wasn't even a word. Like people were just people. That's why I always say men have always been gay. We all start. If we go back to when you're an egg in your mom's womb or in her ovaries, you're an X. We all
Right.
start as women. So I feel like it also goes into what do you nurture and what is nature? Because of course, if you don't have a male figure in a child's life that's a boy, he might turn out to be more like his mom, and you're nurturing those female characteristics and those female qualities that he's already going to possess. We all start as women.
Right. And there's certainly nothing wrong with having feminine traits. You know, if you're raised
Right.
by your mother, you're probably more in tune to women if you are heterosexual.
But
You
I
know,
think
you
every man should be balanced, though. That's what I'm saying.
absolutely,
Like that, I feel
without
like
a doubt.
true straight men are balanced. I feel like if you're all the way over here one way, or all the way, that's not to me. In my experiences, a man that's all the way, they're never straight. Like it's always one extreme to the next because they don't know how to be balanced. And I think that's something that I always tell women: get with a balanced man, not a man who understands. Like because even with chasing money, you have these men who think they're going to be at the top of the world. You could never get there because when the 13 colonies were established, your black ass, because let's just talk about black men, you weren't a part of that. It was no black people a part of that. We are the people
Right.
that were working. So I always tell them, like, you get a man that is too money hungry, he's going to do anything. And people will know, like, you can't get there. Go through the Jewish people. When you look at Ralph, look at Lil Baby.
Yeah.
He got sandwiched between and ain't never been the same.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And I also think that, we go back to, like you said, the colonies, the idea of, the black man being the
Mm-hmm.
mandingo, being the power, being the,
Mm-hmm.
most masculine, the most virile, and putting putting the black man into breeding plantations where they
Right.
bred the men, and the women had to have sex with multiple men and
Mm-hmm.
just the whole sexuality. So
Yeah.
it's the psychology just goes so deep
It
to
does.
bring us to
And a lot of
present
people don't
time.
get it.
Right.
Yeah. And people don't get it because, especially black people, we don't really know the history because, like I say, we live in a patriarchal society that's ruled by white supremacy. But ultimately, like I keep saying, like black women is specifically hold the most control. White men just actually hold the power, but black women are the ones that are influencing the culture. Because I mean, we're black men, but I think we can both agree that most black men are weak. Like all they want to
How
do
do you
is
mean?
please, like as far as like they're not standing up for things that actually matter. Even like coming against me, like it's so many other bigger issues that they could be going up against, but instead they're worried about minuscule things or things that don't actually matter. Like I don't see them out here. We haven't had another Malcolm X or Martin Luther King since they got rid of them
Right.
because that scared a lot of black people. A lot of black men are weak. That's why anytime there's any political anything going on, who do they get? Black women.
Black women.
Anytime you'll see black women standing in front of the police for a black man. It will never be a time. I don't care if the police about to kill me, or I'm gonna let a black woman, or even just a woman, come and be my shield. Weak as
Right.
fuck. Weak. You
You're
shouldn't
right.
even be scared of the police. Like what? They're literally humans too. But just to go into like the psyche behind, like a lot of them, they're as far as like white supremacy, patriarchy, like I know about all of those things. The people who don't know, like they're living those things out. Like a lot of people don't even realize in third grade, you're either going to be a statistic, they're going to label you as what they think that you're going to end up being, whether you're going to populate the jail and give them slavery, legalize slavery, still slavery, but or whether if you even are going to do anything with your life. But the point that I'm making is that a lot of them, they're not furthering their education. They're not doing anything that matters. They're chasing money that they will never get. Money isn't even backed by anything. So it's like, is money even real? I don't want to go off on a tangent, but so
No, we
that's
can
why I
go
say
off on the
like,
10. I'm well equipped to go off on that too. And you're absolutely right. I mean, we know money's made to flow. It's made to go
yeah,
from this hand to that hand.
yeah,
And what is it actually? And how long do you actually have it?
yeah,
So yeah, we can go and definitely go into that.
yeah.
I mean, the problem I have is that, we as black men we feel like we have so many obstacles against us already.
Mhm,
So the last thing we want to do is to have somebody know about our sexuality if you feel like you are gay, if you feel like you're other. So that's where the problem lies, and then
mhm,
you start dating a woman, but you know that you're not,
mhm,
or I mean, maybe you are interested. I don't know, but whatever that amounts to, if it turns to violence, that's where the problem starts.
I
We
agree.
need transparency. If you're I have no problem with a man dating a woman and a man. If that's what you want to do, be transparent. Let your partner know. Let your partner know, hey, I like men, I like women, or I like trans, or I like, white women, or I like whatever your situation is. It doesn't matter. I'm not here to judge your relationships. But when it turns to violence, when it turns to domestic violence or something, or, threats, or it results in death, that's where we have a big problem.
Mhm.
That's where we have a huge problem. And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what your platform is built on, right? It's about helping women to find out these signs
Yeah, because
so that they
like I
can
say,
protect themselves.
I willingly was dating the old man. Women aren't willingly doing it. That's why I
Right.
say, like, for me, it's like gay men, I'm not here to help them. Like, they're willingly putting themselves in danger. I show the danger. It's not like I hide it. It's not like I glamorize it like some people. Like, I show you everything. So therefore people see the real behind it. And like I said, my target audience is women because they're the only ones that don't know.
Mm,
They're the only ones. Like, I know a trans woman might know, like, I'm not gonna be with a man and you can't be deal with me because I know that you're into men. If anything, you can trick me into believing that you're gay because see, that's what a lot of them do. They don't want the gay man to even know they have girlfriends or wives because they know, like, if a gay man finds out, he's probably gonna tell her. So they'll trick us and say, "Oh, I'm gay. Like, I only talk to men." So then you're not even thinking, "Let me go and see." So that's why I always say, like, you still have to do your research, but ultimately, you can tell if a man is DL ultimately
mm.
for us. Like, he's gonna be secretive. It's not gonna be there. You just have this feeling like he's always only want to see you at certain times. He doesn't want to be seen in public. It's just a whole lot of things that will go into that.
Wow. Is there one, you have a huge platform and a lot of stories that you've shared on there. Is there one story in particular that sticks out in your mind? And maybe I can put a little clip on in here for the people to see.
Um,
I do remember one about the young lady from the Harvard,
oh,
went to Harvard.
Brianna
Yeah.
enrolled. Yes, that is a story because that just happened recently. So if people don't know, so Brianna was dating this guy, which she shouldn't have been. He was broke. He was a model. He was hanging out with Jason Lee, gay for pay. I'm gonna just say it because he was. There was proof. He was gay for pay. Of course, she's a Harvard lawyer, but I will say this, like, I understand she was younger. She's not really understanding about the deal, man. She didn't do a background check on him. He ended up beating her really, really bad,
Mm,
multiple times,
mm, mm.
like really, really bad. And now he's running from the police. He's trying to help. People are literally giving him money to go against her because people hate women that much. They're like, she had to do something. Why did she stay? Not holding the man accountable ever.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Domestic violence is never acceptable from
And
a
I always
woman or
any
man.
man, right? And I think any man that hits women is DL. Like, he's gay. I'm sorry. Like, you hate women. I'm gay, and I still wouldn't just be out here, And I
Right.
always say there was a time where I did probably kind of not like women, where it wasn't like I hated them, but it's like I went through stages where, like I always say, homophobia starts in the house. So I had to work through that, but I never hated all women, really just my family members, because I mean they were homophobic as fuck. Like, so of course naturally you're gonna, not like
Right.
that.
Not like it. Do you think that's a big problem in just the people of color community, or do you think that's
Everybody, everybody, every
yeah,
community
yeah.
has that homophobia. They have the stigmas. They have the, like, emasculating. Like I always tell women, just because I'm gay, don't call me girl. Don't call me queen. Don't change my pronouns. Don't do all of this crazy stuff because you wouldn't even know I'm gay unless I just told you, because technically there's no monolith. Every man, to me, again, no man is 100% masculine. Like, I know people try to put on masculine fronts. I know men that will make their voices deeper. They're going to do all of these things so nobody can tell that they're deal.
Right. I agree. And I think, we need to get to a point where people are just living their authentic life. Be yourself 24/7. Doesn't matter if you're straight, gay, whatever. We got to get to a point where people are secure in their own masculinity, in their own
Mhm.
lives.
Mhm.
If somebody's gay, I mean, I know a lot of gay people or my best friends
Mhm.
or gay people, you know what I mean? If I'm a
Mhm.
heterosexual male, It doesn't matter. That has no effect on you whatsoever. If you're not attracted to men, if you're a woman, you're not attracted to women, being friends with
But
people
I
who are same gender loving, it doesn't matter.
but I
But
will say this.
yo,
The reason why I give some of them grace, because like I used to only date athletes, so I know a lot of professional athletes, but what I will say is the ones that had any gay rumors over their head and there was some proof, they got cut. Like even recently, you saw that guy from I can't think of the scene. He got cut. He was doing some weird stuff, $32 million deal. So I do think as long as they reward men for being DL, it's not gonna ever be like a thing that's done. I know too many NFL players, too many NBA players that are DL, but like I always tell people, if the rumors got out and it was enough proof behind it, they're gonna not be on the team. I've seen it happen to people, and those
absolutely.
men don't come forward because I always tell them you can sue them for discrimination, but they always feel like, well, I have to admit that I'm gay. And it's like, you mean to tell me that you're gonna let all of your life just like be taken because you can't admit
A lot
something?
of
So
people
that's what
do that. Look at what's happening
yeah,
in the entertainment industry right now with Diddy.
yeah,
All these people coming forward and all the things that have happened to
yeah.
him. I mean, there were rumors floating around a long time, but then when it
Mhm.
comes to light, then we see the effects, and all these other people are stepping up and saying, "Oh yeah,
Yeah,
well I knew he was." But
yeah.
do people are, would you rather be successful in your career, or would you rather come out with your sexual orientation? So I think that's a reason why people are DL. Even
Yeah,
people who are in the church, even people
yeah,
who are,
yeah,
anywhere else,
yeah.
um, they don't come out for reasons for that,
Yeah.
for financial reasons, for financial
Which I
gain,
think is a little
which is
selfish,
it is. It's very
to
much so.
because I mean, and like I always say, like even the men that I counsel, because I do counsel men as well, DO men, some married men, whatever. I always tell them like it's not about coming out to the world. I don't have a coming out story because I never felt like I needed to come out. If I feel like I'm normal, my normal, why do I need to come out? I don't see straight people walking around saying, "Hey, I'm straight." So I think it's about, like I always tell them, like, you
Right.
need to tell the people that you're sleeping with. And a lot of them now are to that point where they might not tell the world, but they're telling the people that they're sleeping with. And I think that that's the win for me because, again, I don't need you to tell the world. You're not sleeping with the world. But every woman that you sleep with, every man that you sleep with, they need to know, they deserve to know. And it's only fair that they know.
Absolutely. That's the truth that
Mhm.
people need to have in their relationships,
Mhm.
period.
Yeah.
Period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like whether you're
Yeah.
straight or gay, you need to be talking about and communicating about who else you're sleeping with, what your
Mhm.
preferences are,
Yeah.
because I'm not here to judge that. I don't give a fuck who you sleep, excuse my
Mhm.
language. I don't give
No,
a
you're
F
good.
who you sleep with. It's between me and the person I'm with. But I would like to know, if you have eyes on a woman, if you have eyes on another guy, if you have eyes on whatever, I need to know those things so I can make my decision also.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I think that, to me, that's fair.
that's
Like, I
valid.
think if you're gonna be with somebody, but this is why I always, this is something important too. DL men they're not typically able to build emotional connections. They don't love themselves. They're not gonna love you. So I always tell women like, don't have sex. Try to build an emotional connection because what you'll see is that those type of men, you're never gonna get it. So you don't get that emotional connection. You can't fall in love without that. You can be in lust, but as long as they know that, I think that'll also help them too, because a lot of these men are gonna be a lot of men are DL. I think 2/3 of men are gay. I think there's only 1/3 of men that are straight. I honestly think straight should not be the norm. I think it should be an anomaly because I mean I don't think there's a lot of straight men.
I have my own ideas of that too. I think that people are sexual beings, and I think
Thank you.
that's my opinion. I don't even know if we're supposed to be in monogamous relationships our whole entire lives. We're
I mean,
animals.
thank you.
If you make that commitment to someone, I think you should
Mhm,
honor it.
mhm.
For myself, I don't know if that's it,
I think a
but
lot of men think like that.
right. I think so too. And I think, that's the conversation you need to have with the person you're with. And I
Yeah.
think that we're in a place in society where people are just jumping into bed so soon, and the expectation is something that they haven't even talked about yet. We're such a
Because
high
media,
social
media.
media. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Media,
It's
not just social
influencing
media,
them.
but
Like
media.
it's not really like, and it never has been for black people. But I feel like even now for white people, you don't see them really pushing white families than families at all. Like it's just more so hook up, hook up, hook up. Love Island had almost 300 million people that were tuning in all week.
Well, look at what
And
we've come to. Look at what we've come to where, highly
Mhm.
sexually charged in music, in dance and entertainment. Who are we looking up to? These people, look at the Grammys, and I won't say any of
yeah,
these celebrities' names, but,
yeah,
if you're pee is wet and this and that, and you gyrating on the stage, this is a sexually charged society, right?
yeah,
So people are in that mind frame, and people are glamorizing the OF page. I don't care if you have an OF page or not,
yeah.
but that's the mindset that people are in. How are you going to build relationships? How are you going to build families because you're sexually charged in that way? Which brings us then to the present administration, because they are trying to roll back the things with homophobia and getting, LGBTQ people out of the military and going back to the family as a unit. So those are the things that are happening right now in our society as
I
well.
mean,
You
people
say
people
what?
are probably people will probably hate me, but I mean, the harsh reality is I'm not necessarily mad at that because I mean, and I know this is bad, but all of my friends are straight. Like I've been raised around straight people. I have all of my friends are straight. So I do, because like I keep saying, gay marriage isn't helping or hurting nobody. A lot of these punks not getting married regardless. So it's like, it's not like being gay has ever been illegal. Everybody has always been able to be gay. Getting married is the business. It just helps you do paperwork without having to do certain paperwork. That's why I'm like, he ain't really gonna stop nothing. If you already weren't gonna get married, what is he really stopping? Like, I mean, he's gonna stop people from transitioning. We shouldn't even have that because then we wouldn't have certain issues. If everybody had to stay themselves, that would be a good start, at least.
Right.
Now, as far as gay people, I don't do PDA and all of that, so I wouldn't really care. Like again, people always are gonna assume, especially black people, white people don't necessarily, other ethnic groups, they don't necessarily assume that I'm gay. It's only black people. So for me, it's not gonna change my life much
Right.
at all.
And what
Only
is it?
black people, only the black people are the most homophobic. They're the ones that assume that you're gay without you even having it said. So for me, it's like he's not doing anything that's gonna change my life.
I mean, I think it goes back to the conversation we just had too. I think it goes back to one, the church, the strong church that Black people are associated with, which is a
Yeah,
Christian ideology. Okay, so number one, the Bible, like you said, was translated numerous times, one of which by King James, who was gay. So people who are reading, and number three, the Bible are metaphors for life. They're not
right,
actual stories. People, get that into your brain. They're metaphors for life.
right.
This did not happen. These did not happen. And if they did, I need proof.
I
I
always
need
say
proof,
that they
right?
never and even with just like I said with the whole Bible thing, I'm like Christianity. If everybody was, I don't even want to go there. I always get aggravated because people be so mad when I say like to me Christianity is no different than they how they look at voodoo. It's the same shit.
Right.
It's just mixed up a little bit differently. It's they made everything else evil, which is how they were able to conquer. That's why I say white supremacy is global. Capitalism is global. All of
Yes.
these things
Yes.
spread globally through Christianity. Like
Through
the church
Christianity, through organized
controls
religions.
everything.
Let's go.
Right.
Tell
So that's
them.
why I
Tell
always
them.
say, like,
It's
I
all
try
the.
not to because
Mhm.
they hate when you talk about Christianity because a lot of them, without that, their life is done. Like they live, and I'm not saying I believe in something too, but I also believe that Christianity, like I always tell people, if we weren't colonized, you wouldn't be a Christian probably. Not saying that
Absolutely. You're absolutely
everybody
right.
wouldn't, but I feel like I know for a fact if I was able to find my roots and go all the way back, I don't think we would have. I can just tell
Well,
by my
these are
skin
organized
complexion.
religions
Yeah,
that were started by,
yeah,
colonizers,
yeah,
let's be honest,
yeah,
as a way to rein people in and keep them organized.
yeah,
They wanted a set organized way for people to uh,
yeah.
profess their, in a mannerly, orderly way
Mhm.
for religion. This is who you're going to pray to. This is the head of the church. He's second in line, or he's first in line, or whatever the situation, the Pope have you, or you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
this was organized. People of color, African origin, we had Yoruba, we had
mhm.
Santeria, we had all these
Right.
things that belong to the earth and the universe. And that's where it came from. And
That makes the most sense. We've been here the longest. White people only been around 10,000 years. So that's why I
right,
always say, like, for me, I mean, and the conversation get deep, but like you said, like the earth is a living organism. So it makes sense that a lot of stuff is based on the earth. The earth is itself is a living organism. Like I don't think people get that enough. So that makes more sense to me than a lot of stuff in Christianity. And a lot of stuff in Christianity, you're just forced to say, you know what, this just had to make sense somehow. And in reality, people with logic would be like, some of this don't necessarily make sense. I think a lot of these people are brainwashed, so it's like they live in this matrix, and some people are outside of it. Because I always say we all live a separate reality, but we come together to form one reality. So it's hard to explain, but I just think that it's just like you said. To me, the Bible is used to brainwash people and keep people under control.
Absolutely.
It was enslaving people. Like they
Hmm.
blamed. They said literally they used the Bible to justify
Well,
having
think about it
slaves.
too. All the things that came along with it too. And we're going down that rabbit
Yeah.
hole again. The genocide that came along with it, with these colonizers in the
Thank
name of
you.
Christianity. Now, I'm not here to, I'm not, this episode is not to denounce
Right,
Christianity
right,
or that
right,
religion,
right,
but
right.
what I can say is that it doesn't matter what you call your external force. You
Hmm.
can call it chicken soup. You can call
Hmm.
it a chicken sandwich, but it's all the energy of the world that's coming together and the forces that have created us and guide us forward. So I'll
Right.
leave it at
I agree. Because the
that.
energy can't be created or destroyed,
Or
only
destroyed.
transferred. So
Amen.
if we go
Let's
back to
go.
some of the basic stuff, then that's why I say like a lot of this it would just beg people to question things or think beyond what they've been told. And I'm the type of person like I really don't let people tell me anything. Like if I can't come to a logical decision or a logical conclusion, it's just gonna be left unanswered. But I'm not gonna depend on everybody because, like I said, a
You
lot of stuff
can't.
with the Bible, it just doesn't
It
add up.
doesn't. It
Like
does that out. You're
even
right.
because like they are, and even like if we just get into certain things, like I always say I don't even want to do it. We'll still that because I mean people be so upset, but I always just say like the Bible is. I think if you read some of it and just see how it's easy to pinpoint, like, okay, these people weren't in this area of the world. Like these people only been around for 10,000 years. So how is this them? Like I always say, especially in America, like white people won the war, so they control the history. Like I don't think a lot of stuff that we learn, especially just from the Bible and other things, like I think that is fabricated.
It's a one-sided perspective and the
It is.
propaganda, which is
It
what's
is.
happening again now. I don't want to go down this politic road, but you know what I'm saying? Like our current
Yeah.
administration is erasing history. These
History.
only wants to give one side, one perspective, and
Hmm.
that's not valid. We're a multicultural society, and we need to people need to know what actually happened. We cannot move forward as a society without knowing the history. The history is inclusive of everything that's happened on
Right.
every side, not just African Americans, not just, it's Native Americans, everybody who was here before us. And we can't erase that part of our history,
Hmm.
which goes back to what we're talking about with you, is these women need to do their research
Hmm.
on the men that come into their lives.
Yeah.
That's anybody. You need to
Because I
find out
mean,
who
at
they
this
are.
point, we can't even. Like a lot of people be like, well, like I feel like we have to go for what we are now. Like you said, they need to do the research now. Like, yes, at one point in history, sexuality wasn't a thing. Everybody was accepted. Everything was accepted. But that's not where we're living now. So now we have to go by like where we're at now. And now women do need to start doing research. Background checks are very simple. It's very simple to look people up and find out information. Because I think that that's crucial. Because if you listen to a lot of these podcasts, man, they'll literally tell you like they'll manipulate a lot of women just to have sex with them. Like I've heard too many of them say like, if a woman doesn't want this, I'm just not gonna say it, and I'm gonna just lie to get her in bed, and all of that. And we know what that's called. We don't have to say it, but
Right.
so that's why I say women have to be more vigilant because patriarchy, men are raised to look at women as less than. So, like I always tell a lot of women, a lot of these men don't even see you as a human. They
Right.
they just see you as they don't see you as worth conquering because that's what patriarchy is about. It's about conquering, but the difference is it's about men conquering other men. And to conquer another man, you're gonna have to mentally conquer him and more than likely sexually because men are only sexually beings. So to mentally conquer him, you're gonna have to do stuff that is gonna you know what type of tactics those take, and I mean sexually. So that's why I say like patriarchy in itself, men who are like heavily indoctrinated by, I think that they're innately gay. That's why they're gonna build relationships with other men and not women. So women have to be vigilant because it's easy to pick up if a man doesn't give a fuck about a woman.
Right.
But a lot of these women are raised in this patriarchal system where back in the day, maybe women they couldn't even have a bank account without a man. But we live in different times now. That's why I'm
Different
like,
time.
listen, maybe your mom needed a man real bad, but you saw how your mom what she went through, so be better than her. Don't think that you need a man. Be independent. And like I always say, Black women are the only ones that have not fell victim to that because Black men have never been able from a long time to be relied on. Black women have had to have children and be independent because what were they going to do? The men, of course, we know why men turn like that because of the tactics used by white people, white supremacy. Like we know why, but
Right.
what I'm saying is that all of the other groups of women, they had men, they had that family or that nucleus. But for Black people, because like I always say, when we integrated, you were either white or you were a Negro. There was 19 Black people to one white person, which is why we've always been a little bit more dominant, which is why when we had the Black Wall Street in Atlanta, they burned it down because the Black dollar, even now, Target lost how many billions of dollars? Because the Black dollar is the
Because of black
most,
dollar. That's right.
like again, if it was 19 Black people to one, it's always going to be more of us. But I guess we don't realize that it's so many of us and that we would be stronger in numbers, which is why they done all of these things to divide us. Because of course the goal is to divide and conquer. So whether you're light skinned and dark skinned, that's the division. Whether
That's
you're
a
old,
division. Yep.
young, that's the division. Whether you're educated, not educated, that's like they literally done everything to make sure that we're divided. And a lot of people, like I say, especially men, they fall victim to playing into those tropes or becoming those stereotypes, and they just don't realize it. That's why I say I be trying to tell them, but of course they think I'm public enemy number one, and I'm
Right.
like, I'm just seeing something differently than you might have not have saw for yourself, which is why you're walking around sagging, which is why you're constantly in and out of jail, which is why you're not furthering your education. Like education is power.
Education absolutely is power.
And that's where we're lacking.
Absolutely.
Literacy, even on Instagram, I be mad, but then I tell them this out loud. Like, I have to understand, like, most people can't read past the sixth grade level.
Mm.
So trying to understand me, you're not going to be able to because I, one, have a lot of information. I do research. A lot of people don't know how to research. And you can't follow certain concepts if your brain or you can't critically think. So I think that that's why it's also important to we got to get education up, like sixth grade reading levels.
It's tough. We're in a situation, and I think that I don't even know
We're
where to start.
doomed. I
We are
know it's too
doomed. We are
much. We're
doomed, and
doomed.
it's basically it's a mindset that people have. I think we're at a point right now where we have the opportunity to level some of the playing field, but people are lazy and they don't want to do it. We're at a place right now where AI is booming.
Mhm,
This is a perfect opportunity for us as people of color,
mhm.
to get in on the AI boom and get ahead. We are at a zero, we're at a level playing field with everybody else. If you get in and you learn AI and learn how to make it work for your business, make it work for yourself, you have plenty of opportunity to make a lot of money. And with money comes power. And with power, you have the opportunity to help your culture, help yourself, help your family, create generational wealth, and do better for yourself. And that's where the confidence comes from. We can pass it on to each other.
But you
We
have to
can help
have,
each other, but you
but
have
you
to
have
have
to
that
have,
mindset.
and you have to have the knowledge. Though I think a lot of people, they don't have that mindset because they don't think that it's possible.
That's
They
what I'm
don't think
saying.
that, and I mean, but I think that comes like you have to. Again, it's about how you're raised, but I also think it plays a part in education. Like you have to, even now I have friends, we're almost 30, I'm 27. When I graduated high school, I already had an associate's. I finished my bachelor's a year later. But all of my friends, I'm like, y'all need to come to college, y'all need to do something. They're like, no, we don't want to do that. Now we're
Mm-hmm.
27 and they're realizing no matter what you do in this world, you're gonna have to keep learning. You're gonna have to
Absolutely.
learn
Every day.
something. So every day, like I'm like, when you stop learning, even like with me in my career, like I'm like, the minute I stop learning, I get a little nervous because you're supposed to constantly be learning because if you're not learning, you're not growing. And I
Absolutely.
just think that, like you said, it does come with a mindset, but I think it's also factors beyond. Like I didn't listen to rap music until I got to college. Like my great grandmother did not want me to listen to that type of
Hmm.
music. And I mean, if you look at my brothers versus me that listen to rap music growing up, it's a big difference. Like, and
Right.
I, like I always say, I know that media is very influential because a lot of people are consumers. So all they do is sit around, scroll, consuming media. That's it.
That part. Exactly that part. Being
Yeah.
consumers
Yeah.
when we should be owners. And
Oh,
this is what I'm saying about being part of the AI boom. We have a chance right now to get in on the AI boom. So whether
mhm.
you're investing
Yeah.
your money in AI boom instead of buying those fucking Jordans, invest in Nike. Nike
Yeah.
will buy you Jordans. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like we change that mindset and we get it to a point where this thing is working for us.
Yeah.
You know, that's where
Yeah,
we
and
need
I'm
to be.
I'm one of my dissertations is about AI in business because I mean for from our projections, like we do expect like companies to be run by AI. And I would say the next 10 years, because
Absolutely.
AI
Yep.
is literally too smart. Like I don't think people understand what it actually is. And like you say, it's definitely gonna change the world for
Right.
sure. And a lot of people are gonna be left behind because AI is gonna be it's gonna take a lot of people's jobs. Like
Hmm.
you're gonna need to know how to be a software engineer. You're
Be an
gonna need to know
engineer.
how to
Yes.
run these systems and how to reboot this because everything is gonna be controlled by technology.
Right. And that's
Even
where
now,
the
like I don't know if you know they're trying to go to everybody become a 1099 worker or everybody an independent contractor, do away with W-2 so that way taxes. I was like, do people not see where
see
the
where it's
world is starting
going.
to go in?
Right.
Yeah,
Because we have a lot of people who are now entrepreneurs. And I know
yeah,
even like what you and I do, we have our platforms, which is social media,
yeah,
and we have to report taxes on that. If we're making money on social media, you got to report taxes. If you're a
yeah.
content creator, you got to report taxes.
Right. And if you
You
need
know,
somebody, I
Mhm.
am a tax professional. I do have my own tax business.
There
I
you
have an
go. Everybody, you
MBA.
heard it. You hear it right here
Like
first.
I'm just saying, because this is the independent. You can write off. You should never be paying taxes as an independent
That's right.
contractor. That's
And
why, and that's why they're doing it. I'm like, for me, because people don't know this side about me, but I do want to mention it. I have a strong background in finance, so like I always tell people, it's a lot of things. Whether you're filing bankruptcy, whether you don't know how to fix your credit, or just certain things that I think a lot of other people utilize that Black people don't utilize. So I
right.
also give out those tips. You only see them here and there because a lot of people don't care about that. But these are important things, like even getting
They don't care,
myself
but they
under
don't
that.
know either.
Yeah,
We haven't learned that. Nobody told
yeah,
us that. And we
yeah.
don't even
Like
know the
even
questions to ask.
yeah.
So that's where we go with
Okay.
that.
Yeah. And like
It's
even with like you saying, me and you like we're brands because there's gonna
mhm.
be a lot of people listening, but yeah, brand your stuff. Like the DO Whisper is the LLC.
That's
So
right.
for me, again, everything needs to be a business as far as like if you're trying to create generational wealth, like you said, because we're all on social media. People
Right.
don't realize like these ads and all of this stuff, all of this is playing a part. And I know we're supposed to be talking about something else. I'm
No, we're
sorry.
talking about this is
I know
what we're
I
talking
always
about.
just go off on tangents. My
This is
bad.
exactly what we're talking about.
But it's just important because I
It
do
is.
think a lot of people are kind of like not understanding where we are because social media is so new. People don't understand. Like I remember having dial-up internet.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
remember when Facebook, when it first came out, you had to be in college to get on it because you had to have a student email. Like I'm like, people don't understand like where we're going.
Right.
Like it's projected for social media to be like a couple of $1 billion, like I think almost $27 billion industry by the end of 2027.
That's right. And
Billion.
right. And we are learning how to make our business.
Yeah.
This is a business for us, and we have
Yeah.
to do the things to make our brand,
Mhm.
work and
Yeah.
have business. I know. And that's what's coming up in my next episode. So we're talking about
Yeah.
branding. So
Yeah. See, look,
yeah.
that's the perfect segue because that's kind of crucial. A lot of
It
people
is
are
very
on the
crucial.
internet and they don't brand themselves. That's why I always say like it's simple business stuff that I think us as a community, especially Black people, like we have to learn. And I never not I'm never not willing to give people information because I feel like me giving and helping you is not going to hurt me in any way. Like we all
Absolutely
need to
won't.
come up. Like we all need to make sure everybody because a lot of the things that are changing a lot of it is gonna affect us ultimately.
Right. I
Like we're
agree.
gonna get the short end of every stick that there's gonna be given out. We're gonna get the short end every time.
That's right. And that's what I like to talk about on the show too. Not only are the personalities and the people with the brand. I like to talk about the business end of it too, because I want people to know the people that watch the show are also entrepreneurs, and we are here to give information. We're not the gatekeepers of information. We definitely want to give the information, let it flow. And that's what we're here for.
Yes. And I do appreciate you.
Yeah. What do you have coming up next? What should we be looking out for? And
so coming up next, I do have my book coming out. The title I'm still playing around with. I'm still kind of nervous. I never put out a book, so it has a lot of personal stuff in it. I also have a podcast coming. I'm just trying to stay busy. Like, I'm not doing official work right now. I'm just kind of giving out information and living my life. So I'm just kind of going with the flow, doing my bookings every day, and just, having fun with it. Like I always tell people, this isn't a job for me. Like, helping, I've already been doing it. I worked in financial aid. I worked at research universities. So I've always worked to help people. So for me, this is just something that I would have already been doing.
I like that. I like that. Well, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you.
Yes,
and watch you and learn, because you're giving out a lot of good information.
I try. So I am on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I don't have a TikTok. TikTok keep banning me. I've had 10 accounts in like maybe 2 months, no TikTok. But everything else you can find me as DL Whisper, DL, and then Whisper ER. Because I don't know why people keep calling me the DL Whisper. It has the ER on the end of that.
ER at the end. Okay.
Yeah, but other than that, I'll eventually pop up. If they watch this episode, I'm gonna end up popping up, and at least they'll get a little bit more about me, because I do think there's a lot of misconceptions, because I don't really share a lot of personal information. I don't really share anything outside of the DL things, because I don't want it to be misconstrued. I want you, when you come to my profile, you're gonna see everything DL related, because I have a personal profile. So I just wanted to also kind of mention that, because I feel like a lot of people have misconceptions about me, but they know nothing about me.
They don't know anything. Yeah. Well, I want to invite you back when you're ready to share that personal information too, because we would like to get to know you a lot better. I appreciate your time, because time is the most valuable thing you can give. Everybody, please make sure you follow the DL Whisperer.
Thank you.
On the social media. Watch the YouTube videos, like those, and share those, and learn, because he's teaching a lot of good information. Ladies, make sure you watch those. DL Whisperer, thank you so much. Everybody, you're welcome. Thank you. My name is Marcos Luis, MarcosLuis. Please share this episode. This is OneMicNite, OneMicNite. Keep your eyes out for me. I got a couple of films in the work, and I will be back on stage coming up soon in a new play called Social Disorder.
And all right. So, I'm sorry.
That's okay. To be announced. I've been on stage a lot. I just came off stage. Okay. So we'll talk after this.
Okay. Perfect.
All right. So everybody, please make sure you share the show, share the episode. We'll see you next time on OneMicNite. Thank you.